Hello, federal employees. Welcome to our live webinar. I am Eric Steffi. I am CEO of federalsolutions.expert. And I want to thank you so much for taking some time today to get with us to talk about the 6 steps to prepare for retirement. And as we meet a lot of people, they go through and go, oh, I'm not ready to retire. I'm 5 years, I'm 10 years, I'm 30 years. I'm just getting started. We love to chat with brand new employees as they get started to make sure they get all their benefits set up correctly. We meet people all the time that have been with the federal government for 20 years and they go, where were you 20 years ago? I would have set these up different. I would have put things together. So as we're getting started and getting everybody in, please get a notepad and a paper. This meeting is about you. And the first question I want to go through and ask is, what state do you come from? Where are you at? So we just kind of a little bit better idea that you can just type it into the chat that we have an idea of the different states where folks are. Also, if you would put in which agency that you work with, because different agencies have different benefits. They have different HR departments that they work with. And so what we have found out as we work with people, the federal government has some of the best benefits out there. The challenge is when it comes to HR does the best job they can. I hear stories all the time of people, that they go, well, I emailed them a question because I can't call anybody. And I emailed them, and a week later, I got an email back with a hyperlink to go find my own answer. Or, some folks, they attempt to call in, and I know with postal workers, they call HR Shared Services. Last week, it was an hour and 42-minute wait just to talk to somebody. And so you have great benefits, but to get help and support and take care of, and that's what Federal Solutions is about, is to help answer your questions. We are an extension of where the federal government is to be able to help answer those questions. Maybe you need a form, or maybe you need something. We're able to work with you and help you put that together as you look at it. So hopefully you've put in, where what state you live in, and just type it in and put in what agency you work with, so we have a better idea. Now, today is about you. We're going to talk about the best benefits with the least advice. We're going to talk about the 6 steps to prepare for retirement, whether that, for some folks, we meet people right now, they're like, hey, September 30th, I'm out of here. I just want to make sure everything's in order. And we have other people. I just met with somebody yesterday. They're like, 2052 will be my last day of employment. They've got, 27 years before they're going to be done. And that's okay. We just want to make sure it's set up and taken care of. So as we go through and look at your benefits on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you understand them, how they work? And so if you would just type in what level you're at, are you, a lot of people go, oh, I think I'm a 5, because what we found out is most people get their advice on benefits around the water cooler. I call it the water cooler conversation. Well, they told me that this is how it worked, that somebody looked and checked, or they heard this and they found out this. And sometimes the information is correct, but a lot of times it's correct for that person, but it may not be correct for you. And so we want to be able to work with you, that we can help you understand where you're at. So the questions you have, as they come up, please ask questions. Our goal is to go through today in the next 55 minutes and give you just a starting point that you're going to learn some things you probably didn't know. We're going to reiterate and give you confirmation on things you did know, and give you opportunity. For a lot of people, like, I want to know more information. And you'll be at the end, you can register that you can actually get together with one of our experts to answer your questions. You are in control of your financial future. And on some of these benefits, you go, well, Eric, you talked about this benefit. I don't even know which one I have. Well, we'll help you sort that out. We'll make sure they're set up right. So today, we're just going to walk through and talk about how they work, and we're going to talk about the process. So the 6 things we're going to look at today is see the whole picture. What's going on in the federal space right now. Then understand the pieces of your puzzle. Because here's what I tell everybody. Everyone is different. They have different goals and dreams, where they want to be, how they want everything to work. And our goal is to make sure that your puzzle pieces get put together to make the perfect puzzle for you, that when you retire, everything works correctly. We're going to help you plan for tomorrow. We're going to show you what those numbers look like. We're going to make your plan the opportunity to know exactly what it's going to look like. And then we're going to show you how to work that plan and taking the steps necessary. So as a federal employee, there's lots of benefits. You've got your FERS annuity. Now, that is going to be your pension plan. And we're going to break that down and look at it, how it works. There's what's called a survivor benefit. And what I found out is most people don't even know what a survivor benefit is. We'll talk about that if you're married, your spouse has the option to get part of your payment should you pass away after you retire. We're going to look at Social Security. We actually have a Social Security expert on staff that you can meet with instead of having to call in and wait or not sure, that we can schedule an appointment around your schedule for them to help you, that she can walk you through the different pieces. We'll talk about taxes. Everyone's scared. Whoa, how's inflation? How are taxes going to affect me in retirement? We actually have programs we can run for you that you can have all the answers that you need. FEGLI, Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. That's a big piece. A lot of times I meet people when they first hire on, they're not even sure what they signed up for. And then 5 years later, they go, oh, I want to change it. And you're actually, open season on Fegley happens randomly. It was like 7 years ago that they had open season. It kind of comes and go. It's hit or miss. And now there are life changes that you have that you can make adjustments, but we'll talk about those and what you need to have. We're going to talk about the health benefits, health insurance. That's probably one of the biggest reasons people we meet work with the federal government is I get health insurance for life. When I retire, I get to take it into retirement. There's a vision and dental plan that you have. There's the thrift savings plan. Most companies either have a pension or they have what's called a 401k plan. As a federal employee, you get both. They're one of the few companies out there that offers both for you. Then there was long-term care insurance. They used to offer a plan. Well, 2 years ago, they suspended it. They're getting ready to eliminate it. But I still meet people that, I really need long-term care. We're watching our parents age or family members age, and there's a need. Well, there are supplemental plans, things that we can talk to you about and give you options as we look through. So what our goal is for you to see the whole picture. Before you retire, see what you have. See exactly how all that's going to work. If you default to the government options, because the government, especially this year, the government has made lots of offers for you to go because they're only going to give you what you're entitled to. They won't tell you everything. They're going to say, oh, here's an offer. And a lot of people, okay, I'll take it. Well, what we found out, and we've helped a lot of people as they took the fork in the road, as they took the DRP, that there was other things they could request, and we had different people request. And one example is the VSIP. They didn't know they could ask for a VSIP. They asked for it, and we have cases where people actually got it. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll give it to you. That's an extra $25,000. And so having someone in your corner to look out and help you, that's what we want to be able to do. So the government, they're going to be happy to give you an offer. That doesn't mean they're offering you everything that you could qualify for. So we're going to talk more about that today, but looking at the whole picture is the most important thing. So will you have enough money for retirement? This is the biggest thing. I've been doing this for 38 years. I helped my first federal employee out of Lawrence, Kansas, out of a post office in 1989. And the biggest thing that people go is, do I have enough money to retire? No one wants to retire and be broke. They want to retire and have a great life. And I started back in 1989 working the direction going, hey, there's lots of people that need help. Let's help them. And the number one question we see is, I'd love to retire, but I don't think I can. I don't know if I'm going to have enough money. Well, it's real simple. You go through and ask a series of questions. We'll find out what it's going to look like. And we'll talk more about that as we go through. So what do you want to learn today? Please, in the chat line, put in, what are you looking to learn? Okay. Do you want to learn more about FERS? You want to learn more about Fegley? Are you looking for Social Security or supplemental FERS? Or do you want to know about health insurance, long-term care options that are out there? What about the survivor benefit, taxes, savings, lifetime income, my TSP? Well, there's all kinds of things, and everyone's a little bit different. So please put those in the chat as we go through, and we'll look and answer those questions as we get to the end, or make sure that you get the answers that you need as we look at it. So as we go forward, the first thing we want to talk about is this year, the new administration opened the door up, and a lot of people were made offers that they could leave. It started out with what was called the fork in the road, okay, or DRP, and then they've opened it up. There's a deferred resignation, the DRP. There is what they call a RIF, okay, reduction in force. For some people, they got a severance. Other people were just terminated. And so you may be one of these people that it happened to you. And we are sorry that you ended up at that point, but we would be glad to help you. Now, if we look at the next slide, it talks about you can go to our site. We have a whole area designated to help you. What is my next step? What do I need to focus on? What do I need to put together so that I make it, that I'm going to be able to survive through this? And I know up front, we've met with a lot of people, and some of them are happy. They're like, I wanted out. They gave me a reason to get out. We also have on the other side people that are, I planned on being here my whole life. I didn't want to get cut. I don't want this to happen. So we can help walk you through the process. We can work with you. We can help you put that plan in place. The key that I tell everyone is what's showing. Our best advice is if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. People may make offers. I've had people tell me, my manager told me that I could get this and to take it, and it was the best thing. And I said, make sure it's in writing. If it's not in writing, your manager may be telling you one thing and it doesn't work that way for you, and you may be out in the cold. We'll walk you through, and we look at all kinds of documentation just to make sure that it's valid and how it works. So let's go forward and understand the pieces. Okay, this is a puzzle. Now, understanding the pieces is you need to be able, as you look at retirement, that all the things are in order. You need to make sure as you prepare for retirement, there's a package. And we're going to talk about it. You can either do an immediate retirement. Now, because of the RIF and how it's been set up, there's what's called a deferred retirement or a postponed retirement. That means they're putting it off till you qualify for it. And you're still going to get your pension. Now the benefits are cut. Everyone's different. Every agency is different. We'll be glad to look at that. So you want to make sure that you have all the information together. Now you can get information off the GRB, off Fed Navigator. Yeah, you can call HR. You can send an email to HR. They will work with you. Now I know right now, everyone knows the government is cut back. They've let people go. And I tell everyone, HR's let people go. That means there's less people working. They're overworked, they're underpaid, and they're not hiring new people to help them. So it may take a little bit longer. And we're going to talk about that because the timelines have changed as we look at, as you prepare for retirement. If you're retiring in the next year and a half, you're going to have some odds stacked against you. Now, what happens is don't retire without all the correct information. You need to go in. We see people all the time that their computation date, the date they actually went to work, is different on their leave and earnings statement than what it is. Well, we need to make sure that it's set up correctly, because if you retire with the wrong date, they're going to go with the date they have. Now, 1 out of every 100 times we see this, it's to the favor of the federal employee. 99 out of 100 times, it's in the favor of the federal government, and you're cutting yourself short that maybe you weren't there as long as you should have been. And we want to make sure you have credit. We're like a second eyes to look and make sure you get what you need. Now, the question we get a lot is, when is the best day to retire? When is the best month to retire? Well, I tell people that it is perfect to get out when you want. But there's a couple things that I call it stacking the odds in your favor. First of all, the best day to retire is the last day of the month, not working day, the last day, whether that be the 30th, the 28th, the 31st, you want to go the last day. Now, people, well, why is that? Your health insurance is figured in 30-day increments. If you go in the middle of the month, they have to by hand recalculate up. It may hold up your final getting your FERS payment an extra month or two. I've seen people have their check held up for a year once they've retired. So the best day to retire is the last day of the month. Now, I have people that are like, no, Eric, I hit my 30 years. It's on the 16th and I'm done. That is my last day. We understand. We'll help you get out. It may take an extra month, but we're going to talk about having a little nest egg put away, that you're prepared for that. Now, which is the best month to retire on? That's your choice. One thing that we've found, though, the federal government can process about 8,000 to 9,000 applications a month. Most federal employees go December 31st. So if you look at going at the end of the year, it may take an extra 2 or 3 months for them to process everything. So I tell people, if you go in the middle of the year, when not everyone else is going, you're going to be in the best position. Now, as we look at that right now, there's about 100,000 people that September 30th is going to be their last day. They're still on payroll. They're just not working. So they can process 8,000 or 9,000 applications. And there's 100,000 people in October, November that are coming through. Do you understand? There's going to be a huge backlog. Then there's all those other people that want to go out December 31st that I foresee there's going to be a few issues of it taking a little bit longer to get that first check, which will be a partial check, then getting their first full check. Now, other questions are, what tax bracket will I be when I'm retired? What happens to my annual leave? These are great questions. And we're able to sit down. We actually have programs so we can run and show you what's your tax bracket. It depends. Is your spouse still working? Are you going to get another job? Because it's all based on earned income. For most people, they retire, their spouse retires at the same time. The average federal employee makes a little over $100,000 a year. Your income is going to go down probably to about 40 to 50,000. So you're going to probably drop to a lower tax bracket, but we can run the programs to find out exactly where you're going to be. So let's look at the retirement process. The first thing as you get ready to retire is sick leave. Now the question comes up, what do I do with my sick leave? Well, you got a couple options. A lot of people accumulate. They say, oh, don't use it because if you should ever have an illness or sickness, you need it. So as you accumulate it, when you retire, that will be added to time that you've worked. So if you have 30 years of service and you retire on the 30 years and you have 1 year of sick leave, they're going to add it. You'll have 31 years of service. It's going to make your payment bigger. Now, some people are like, I just want to spend that time down. Well, you need to work with your manager. We can help you, but you'll have to be able to go in. And I meet people, they have months of sick leave. Well, you have to put a plan in place. Depending on what you do, we're happy to look at that with you. Now, the other part is your annual leave. Now, your annual leave will be paid out to you in your final paycheck. You're going to get a nice little nest egg. And now some people, they burn all their annual leave down, which is good. But for most agencies, you're allowed to take part of it. Now, they have a cap on it, about 420 hours. Some of them are 540. And when you order your annuity estimate, it'll tell you, hey, you have too much. And I saw somebody last week and they had 40 extra hours. They had like 480 hours. Like you got to, and it says 40 hours you won't get credit for. So if you don't use that 40 hours or take a week off of vacation before you leave, they keep it. They have no issue keeping it. And so we're going to make sure then when you retire, we see people get $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 checks in their final payment, their last paycheck from the annual leave that they have. And I tell that's like a nice going away present. So let's look at the timeline or the process you need to know. So know how all the pieces work. One of the biggest things, if you remember 3 years ago, TSP went through a change. They put it on a new platform. And when they did that, they accidentally erased everyone's beneficiaries. So we tell everybody, if you're getting ready to retire, or maybe you're still working, it's important that you update your beneficiaries. Now, the federal government has a list of 27, in order of 27 people. If you're married, the first person, if you don't have a beneficiary showing up, it's going to go to your spouse. Then it's going to go to your children. Then it's going to go to your parents. And it's going to go to your aunts, uncle. And it kind of goes down through. Our goal is that as we meet with people, let's review. Now, it's not just your life at your FEGLI, your life insurance. TSP has a beneficiary. Okay, so we need to make sure that those are all set up and updated where they're at. For most people, they're in a good position. A lot of people, their TSP, it was wiped out. Even though you may have set it up, we need to check on that. We'll be glad to help you have a form. You just put the basic information. We submit it for you. It's all taken care of. So as you get ready to retire, you need to know how it works. So let's say you're retiring the end of this month. We're in August 31st, you're done. What that means is September 1st is when you would typically get your first FERS payment. But what happens is you're not going to get a payment. Okay, because that's when they start processing your paperwork. It used to be the second month you would get about 50 to 60% of your payment. So if you're supposed to get $3,000 a month, you would get about $1,500 to $1,650 in the second month. Now, remember, a lot of people have just left. A lot of people have left the federal government, and a lot of people are getting ready that they have retired or they're leaving. And what we have seen, the people we're helping retire, we help about 60 to 75 people a month with their retirement. It's 3 months before they see their first partial payment. So don't be surprised if you don't get that payment right away. It may take, you may not get it. You won't get it September 1st. It may not be October. It may not be November. It may be December 1st you get that partial payment. Now, usually it used to be in the third or fourth month, you'll get that partial payment, 60% we'll say. And by the fifth month or the sixth month, they're going to give you your full payment of $3,000 minus expenses. And they're going to come back and pay you what you missed. The partial payments will be paid out to you. Now, here's what happens. Right now, we're looking at 7 to 10 months with all the people that are going through the process. So that's where we tell people you want to have a little nest egg put away. Now, I've had some people go, well, no, Eric, the second month I got my pay. Perfect. I would rather prepare you for worst case scenario and have you get the payments faster than to have say, oh no, you're going to get your payment the second month, and in 5 months you have your full payment, and find out it's 10 months. So I've had people take up to a year. Now, why does it take longer? Well, comes down to the day of the month you retired, comes down to, did you have workman comp claims? Did you have buyback military service that they had to clarify? So there's a lot of factors that are built into it. And right now they're short-staffed. So just be prepared as you look at retirement. So let's switch gears. And now let's talk about the pieces. These are the benefits that you have. We're going to talk about federal employee health benefits. Now, the health benefits, that is one of the best reasons people work with the federal government. They get, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Aetna, GEA. Those are the three basic health insurance plans. Now there's 32 different plans. Depends on the state you live in, where you're at. Now, last year, the federal government, they made a change for the postal workers. The postal workers went onto a brand new platform for their health insurance. It's based on Medicare. And so I believe from the sources we have, it's a test of what they're doing. I believe down the road, should this test work out with the post office, they're going to be opening the door up for other agencies to go to the same platform. What that means is when you turn 65, you're going to go straight off of onto Medicare. Now, we actually have an expert in our back office. He works with health insurance. He works with Medicare. He works with TRICARE for those of you that have military time in. And you can meet with him and he'll go through and our goal is to lay all your options out. What happens is most people, they're talked into doing something. Our goal is just, hey, you can go over here and have A, you can have B, you can have C, or you have a combination. And here's what it's going to cost you. Here's what it's going to run. And then you can make the decisions. The next thing we look at is FEGLI, Federal Employee Group Life Insurance. Now, your basic that you have is your salary, round it up and add $2,000 to it. So if you make $100,800, it's rounded up to $101,000, add $2,000, you have $103,000. Now you pay for it unless you work for the post office. The post office, every agency is a little different. They get their basic for free, but all other agencies, you pay for it. Now, when you turn 65, your basic becomes free. So when you retire, you have some options. The 75% reduction is what most people take. And so that part will become free. Now, there's a few caveats to it that we'll be glad to explain to you. So with the FEGLI, there's a couple other options. Let's look at option A. Option A is an accidental death and dismemberment. That means should you be in an accident, it will pay you part of your face amount. If you pass away in an accident, or if you're in an accident and you lose both feet, both hands, both eyes, or a combination, it'll give you a percentage. If you pass away in an accident, it's going to pay you. So option A, and it's a straight across the board, very simple. A lot of people have that. Now, option B will allow you to get up to 1 to 5 times the coverage of your salary. So if you make $100,000 a year, you could get up to 5 times. You get $500,000 worth of coverage. Now, when you're young, FEGLI is very, very inexpensive. But as you mature, option B, every 5 years, it increases in premium. And by the time you're 55 and 60, if you have option B, you're going to see significant jumps going from maybe only $33 a paycheck. And then as you get older, it goes to $65 a paycheck. And then as you get to 60, it goes to $105 a paycheck. And as you get to 65, it goes to $260 a paycheck. I just met with somebody who turned 65 and their premiums went to $780 a month that they're paying for. They had no idea. That's part of why we want to look, and it's like, now, is there a need for life insurance? Yeah, we just need to clarify what need is that you have. Now, option C is you can have your spouse on your plan with you. They can get up to $25,000 on your spouse. If you have children at home under age 22 or that are in college, you can get up to $12,500. Once they've left the nest or after age 22, they are not part of that plan. We meet people all the time that their spouse, they're either divorced, the kids are gone, and they're paying for option C. And we show you, we understand at a stroke of a pen, we can free up money that you've been spending. I met people for 7 years, they've been paying for something they had no need for. And so we're glad to analyze, have one of our experts look at where are you at? Are you in the best position? Now, like I just said a minute ago, do I really need life insurance? That's a great question. For a lot of people, like, no, as I have my retirement plans, I have my 401k, my TSP, I have money. I don't need life insurance, but I meet lots of people that we sit down with, and they're like, I still want to have insurance when I retire. When you retire on FEGLI, the government stops subsidizing it, and your premium will usually triple. Well, what we found out for a lot of people, they can get a supplemental plan that will save them money. You can get a term plan with living benefits. There's whole life plans out there. There's variable life plans. There's all kinds of plans that, what do you need? Now, when it says people, what are living benefits? Well, the federal government used to have a long-term care plan. They suspended it, and now it was with Hartford, and now they're going to be discontinuing it altogether. Well, living benefits is a plan that should you have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, 11 other life-threatening events, or you have a chronic illness. That means you're not able to do 2 of the 6 activities of daily living, which is long-term care. That's what they cover. You can actually get a plan that has all the features of long-term care built into it at a much reduced cost than what a long-term care policy is. Fact is, for a lot of people, they can get these plans while they're working, and it saves them money over what they're paying for their FEGLI. So those are options. Like I said, you may go, I'm not interested in that. Fantastic. But we meet lots of people. I need, for whatever reason, we'll sit down and explore and show you if there's a supplemental option that you're looking for, we can help you with. Now, the next thing we look at is planning for tomorrow. This is what everybody gets excited about. Hey, what am I going to get when I retire? Am I going to have enough money? How's that going to look? And so the foundation of your retirement is going to be your FERS, your Federal Employee Retirement System. Now, I know on a call like this, once in a while, there's still a few folks that worked for civil service. That means they went to work before 1983, and we can help you with your civil service, how that works. But for the most part, 99.9% of the people we see are FERS employees. That means they went to work after. Now, that'll be a payment you get. We can calculate out based on where you're at today, what that's going to look like when you retire, whether it's in 3 months or whether it's in 30 years. We can show you. Now, the next thing we look at is Social Security. Social Security is a place that most federal employees, when they retire, they turn it on. Now, if you look, it says subject to federal taxes. That's changing. The new big, beautiful bill that went through says they're going to lower. Now, it says we're not going to tax Social Security. There still is the possibility there could be, based on your situation, some taxes, but it's going to be very reduced. So everyone's different. We can look at that, what that's going to look like. Now, you're going to get a first payment. You're going to get a Social Security payment. The last thing is you have your thrift savings plan. That's a 401k plan. The government allows you to put money in, and they will match up to 5%. Now, out of that, you get to decide. For some people, a lot of federal employees are like, when I retire, I need an income for life. Well, you can turn on and create an income that is guaranteed to work the rest of your life. If you live to be 105 years old, you're going to get that payment. You can never run out of money. It works just like Social Security. It works just like FERS, that you can build a guaranteed income for life. But we meet a lot of people that they put money away, they've done well, and they're like, I just want to have a legacy plan. Well, what's a legacy plan? That means you have your money setting from your TSP, that you take money out as you need it. We have a lot of clients that do this, that once a year they take their family on a big vacation. They take extended family and they go on a family cruise, or they go to a destination. Then there is, I have a gentleman right now that each of his grandkids, when they graduate from college, he's using the money out of his TSP to buy them a new car. Great incentive for them. So you go get your college education, I'm going to buy you a new car. So that's what we call a legacy play. So now as we look over planning for tomorrow, so those are the 3 basic ways you're going to get paid. But if you look, understand your retirement income sources and tax consequences. Do you understand? We live in America. Taxes will always be a part of what we do. We get questions all the time. How is inflation going to affect me? How are taxes going to affect where I'm at, the income I make? And we have programs that we can sit down. Everyone's situation is a little bit different, that we can look at, that we can see. So you got your FERS, your Social Security, your thrift savings. A lot of people may have an other plan. One of the other options that we recommend everybody, if you are working and you have time on your side, that means you have 5 years or longer, we highly recommend you go take advantage of the Roth provision inside the TSP. Now, understand the TSP, you put in 5%, they match 5%. You could take your 5% and put it in, and it grows in a Roth. Now, what happens in a Roth is they tax you right up front. Then the money grows tax-free and it comes out tax-free. Imagine being able to get money in retirement tax-free. Well, Eric, do I qualify for that? We would be glad to sit down and show you how you can take advantage of it. Now, for a lot of people on that slide, you notice on the side it had budget, because that's the biggest thing that when we talk to people, they're like, well, I have enough money, because we meet people all the time and they go, I don't know what my budget is. I just spend what's in my account and there's a little left over every month. Well, what we do is we can actually run a budget program. See, if you spend $5,000 a month, but in retirement, you're going to make $7,000 a month, you're going to be in a great position. You have an extra $2,000 to play with. But if your budget's $8,000 a month and you're going to make $6,000 in retirement, that's a $2,000 a month shortfall. That means you're retiring to go get a job somewhere else to make up that difference. 80% of the time we meet with people, we have to tell them, you know what? We need to take care of this. Maybe pay some debts off, reallocate where your money's going. We have specialists, experts that will help you do that as you look at, to make sure you're in the best position possible, so you're totally confident as you leave. So let's break down. First of all, we're going to look at FERS. Now, FERS is your Federal Employee Retirement System, and it's a simple equation. What they do, you've heard this, they go in and take your high 3 years consecutive income. They add that, they combine it together. Then they take the number of years of service, whatever it may be, that you have, that you've qualified. Then they're going to take your age based on where you're at, and it comes up with a payment that you're going to get. Now, there's a few caveats to that. If everyone remembers, we got lots of phone calls 4 months ago, people going, they were talking of changing it from the high 3 to a high 5. You're right. If they change it to a high 5, that means the number goes down a little bit. That will have an effect on your payment. We saw people, we can analyze if they went to a high 5, payments might drop $50 or $100 a month. We had people that go, if that goes through, I want to retire and use my high 3. We can analyze, we have the ability to do this for you to see what benefits where you're at. So you will create a lifetime payment. Now, on the bottom there, it says a survivor benefit option. We're not going to get into a lot of detail, but you can get with an expert. If you're married, there's a survivor benefit option that you can take advantage of, that you get a payment for the rest of your life. When you pass away, that payment, half of that payment can be passed on to your spouse. So that's a big thing. A lot of people aren't familiar with it, but we can explain it. We'll run the numbers and show you what it looks like. So this is a pension plan. It's great. Your FERS. Now, the second thing we look at is Social Security. Okay. We actually, I said, have a Social Security expert that we can sit down. When do I take Social Security? We have programs we can run. You can meet with someone at your schedule that can walk you through. Do I turn it on at 62? Do I turn it on at 66 and 8 months when I'm qualified, or do I wait till age 70? We can take a look. We'll help you identify when is the best time for you. Everyone's situation is a little bit different. We'll put that piece of the puzzle together for you as we look at it. So next we look at is your thrift savings plan. Okay. So let's just take a minute. In your thrift savings plan, they have 5 basic funds: G fund, F fund, C fund, S fund, I fund. Now I'm going to ask a question that you can put into the comments. What percentage of the TSP money allocated right now? Now, the TSP is the largest 401k plan in the world. As of May, there was $1,060,000 in that account. 1 trillion. That's pretty big. Now, out of that 1 trillion, my question, please put this in the chat. What percentage of that is in the G fund? Now, I'm not seeing the chat as it comes in, but this is a great question. So if you go back to the difference, the G fund, that is the guaranteed account. The G fund over the last 10 years has averaged 2.5% return. And so it is a place of where your money, it's secure. You're not going to make any money. It doesn't keep up with inflation, but it's not going to lose money. And that's important to a lot of people. Well, the right answer for the G fund is 25.1%. Susan, congratulations. You are correct. So 25, so a fourth of the money in that account, in the thrift savings plan, is in a G fund. Now, what a lot of people don't realize, did you know there's a fee? All 401k plans have fees. Now, the TSP has a reduced fee, but did you know the average fee for each of the funds, the G fund, which is government securities like a savings account, the F fund is in bonds, the C fund is in stocks, medium, the S fund is in stocks, small to medium size, I fund is international. Now the L series, that's a life cycle that we recommend a lot of people they look at. Did you know they charge 0.36% to manage your money? So every $1,000 you have in there, they charge 0.36%. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but they're charging you, even though there's $1 trillion in there. So We have lots of people go, what do I do with my TSP? Do I have it properly allocated? Well, you can meet with one of our experts. We have advisors that can sit down and do a risk tolerance and show you the best allocation for you inside the TSP so that your money grows, but it doesn't take more risk than you want to take. I meet people all the time and they don't want a lot of risk, but they end up in the C fund. And when the C fund lost 36% a few years ago, imagine having $1 million and losing $360,000 in a 10-day period of time. We had that happen. Well, probably shouldn't have been allocated like that. So let's go on and look in more detail about your thrift savings plan. How is it going to work? Now, if you look on the right-hand side, the income gap. So if you look, it says when you're looking, your income during your career, you're making money, it grows up, it grows. Then you decide to retire, federal retirement pension. You're getting a Social Security. Most people do, and you're going to get your first payment. For a lot of people, they have what's called the income gap. That's what we just talked about. They may use it for a monthly payment guaranteed, or they may use it as a legacy play. So let's look at the left-hand side. Here's just quickly the options you have. When you get ready to retire, you can withdraw all of your money out of the thrift savings plan. Now, withdrawing all your money out of the thrift savings plan, if you use the traditional, the money went in pre-tax, it grew tax-free, and if you decide to pull the money out, first person at your door is going to be Uncle Sam. And he's got his hand out, and they're going to want ordinary income on that. We had somebody, they just took $300,000 out of, I want to pay all my stuff off, took $300,000 out. That's almost 38% tax. Almost $120,000 of that went just to Uncle Sam. Our goal is to make sure you pay the least amount of taxes. We can run programs to find out taking money out is okay, but let's do it so you pay the least amount in taxes. Number two, you can leave your money in the thrift savings plan. Now, if you read the fine print, what it says is the thrift savings plan was created to accumulate money for retirement. It wasn't built to manage in retirement. Now, a lot of people, they're like, I'll just keep it and I'll leave it in there. And fact is, a lot of people in their 70s have money in the C fund, the S fund. See, I ask people, when you retire, most people look at 62 to 65 to retire. You don't want to be 75 years old, watching the market every day, managing your TSP, overseeing it. You want to be able to enjoy your retirement and where it is. Leaving the money in the TSP leaves yourself at the risk of the market and the risk of the choices that the federal government makes with the money. In the past, the government has used the money out of the TSP. So for most people, that's not a good choice. The third option is what's called a savings payout. If you notice, when you get your annual statement in January every year, there's a little box on the right-hand side. It'll have a number. It'll say like $2,318. Now, what does that mean? When you retire, you can sign over all the money in your thrift savings plan to the TSP. They're going to take it and they're going to pay you that $2,318 every month for the rest of your life. Now, if you live to be 105 years old, like most good Americans want to, you're going to get all your money out of there and a little bit more. The challenge is if you pass away, it ends. No payment goes to your beneficiary. TSP keeps all the money. The only people that find out about this are widows and widowers. I had a gentleman, he lived in Iowa. He'd worked for the federal government. He was 62 years old, was retired. He goes, Eric, the government's been good to me. TSP's been good to me. I'm going to leave my $500,000 and I'm taking the payment option. 6 months later, he passed away of a heart attack. His wife calls up the next month. Where's my payment? $500,000 is gone. She got nothing. Of all the choices, this one is the worst one. It's the least understood. Now, there's a fourth choice. It's doing what's called a direct IRA rollover. You can roll your money for no cost, no fee, no charge out of the thrift savings plan. Now, a lot of people go, that sounds really good. You know, it worked, it made money. Where do I put that money? Where should it go? Well, you have a couple options. First of all, It can go into a guaranteed account, a fixed account. Second of all, you can do what's called an indexing option. Or the third option is you could go to a variable option. Now, when you say a fixed account, that's going to be like a money market or a CD. Or what's an adjustable, a variable? That's going to be like a mutual fund, a managed account where it's in the market, gets market returns. Now, as I show this, a lot of people go, okay, I'm familiar with the bank and I'm familiar with the market. What is an indexing account? Well, a lot of federal employees are very attracted. If we can go to the next 2 pages, please. What happens is we're going to go show you what's called indexing. How indexing works is it allows you to participate in the market returns, that when the market goes up, you make money. When the market goes down, it just sits there. So the red line here represents the stock market. And you know the stock market, it's like the C fund, the S fund. It goes up, you make money. Market goes down, you'd lose money. The blue line represents index strategies. So how does the index strategy work? Market goes up, you make money. Market goes down, it just sits there. So if you remember back in the late 90s, every week the market was hitting an all-time high. You see the red line took off. So did indexing. Then in 2000, we had that little event called Y2K. Remember that? Hey, computers aren't going to turn on. Stoplights aren't going to work. The world's going to fall apart. And what happened? Nothing. Now, it seems like yesterday. That was 25 years ago. If you remember, though, on January 1st, the market went into a 3-year slide. Notice how the red line went down. Notice the blue line, it just sat there. Then the market took off again. It bounced up. And in 2008, we have what's now known as the mortgage crisis. The federal government had to bail the banks out in America. We had the largest drop in the market since the Great Depression. Notice the blue line? It just sat there. Then the market took off again. So did indexing. And it went up. It had a couple little hiccups. And in 2021, they finally caught up and look where it was at. But if you remember in January of 2021, we have that little thing now known as the COVID crisis. Remember that? We have this new thing going on. Everyone's got to stay home. And the market took a dramatic drop, 40 to 50%. It went down to $348,000. Indexing just sat there, stayed at 437. Now, if you had just retired January 1st of 2021, would you rather have 437,000 to retire off of or 348? Now, the good news is most everyone on this call, I'm going to assume, didn't retire then. The market came back. It bounced up the last 3 years. Look, it came up. But remember in January of this year, we had a new administration, tariffs, everything, and the market went into a slump. It dropped 18%. Indexing just sat there. Now, the good news is the market's already bounced back up. It's already at an all-time high. When the time comes for you to retire, do you want to take risk? Or do you want, as you get into your late 50s, 60s, is indexing something that should be a part of your strategy? Maybe not all of your strategy, but part of your strategy to protect you against market risk. Right now, we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have wars. Or there's tariffs. Are they really working? We don't know. We don't have the answer. What we can do is sit down and do what we call a stress test for you. Find out exactly where you're at. How is inflation going to affect you? How's longevity going to affect you? That you can be in the best position possible. So let's go forward. What we're going to look at is the next step. Your plan. Now, this is what we create for everyone, whether you're 30 years old or whether you're 65 years old. We can sit down and look at, based on your high 3 years of experience, time that you put in your age, your first payment. Now, this is an example, 62 years old, $2,461. That's going to be the monthly payment. Then we have Social Security, $2,150. Now This person chose to use an indexing account that gave a payment of $2,596. So they're going to be guaranteed at age 62 a monthly payment every month for the rest of their life of $7,207. And there's going to be a COLA involved with FERS, with Social Security. That number can actually go up. So how many people are looking and you go, wait, I make $100,000 a year. If I was to retire, I'd be in a lower tax bracket. I'm not paying for Medicare. I'm not paying for Social Security. I'm not putting money in my TSP. I could retire and make more money in retirement than I'm making right now. Because I tell everybody, take your net paycheck you take home, take it times this number here, and you're going to go, I could retire and make more money I'm making right now. Now, some people I meet with love their job, and they're like, yeah, I want to stay here. This is what I love to do. Stay. But the day they make a decision you don't like, you can say, I can walk. I'll make more money in retirement than I'm making right now. This is putting a plan in place. This is knowing most everyone we meet want to go from hoping to knowing that retirement's going to work, that you're going to have the best life ever. That's what we want to do, is make sure all the odds are stacked in your favor, that when you go, it's a simple process. Paperwork's taken care of. All your benefits are set up correctly. You don't have to worry. And then have someone to fall back on as you retire, in retirement, to follow up every year. Benefits are going to change when you retire. It's our federal government, right? So what's your next step? Everyone's retirement is different. Top dreams. People love to travel. They love to do hobbies. What I love about this is I get pictures. I have people I've helped retire. I had a gentleman who wanted to buy a boat. And in his retirement, we've worked everything out. He makes more money retired than he did when he was working, had enough money left over to go buy a boat. And he sends me every month, I get fishing pictures. He's in Canada right now fishing. He just sent me pictures. He lives in Florida, goes up to Pennsylvania fishing with his family, goes to Canada. He loves it. Everybody has hobbies, things they want to do. That's what we love, helping people live their best life ever. For a lot of people, it's spending more time with family or with friends, being around the people they want to be around. See, you have choices. So your next step is plan now to reduce the stress. We meet people every day. I've been doing this for 38 years. People get stressed out. Am I going to have enough? Is it going to work out for me? I meet all kinds of people. I would have retired 5 years ago, but I didn't know. I can't get a hold of someone to help me. Or I started talking to somebody and they tried to push me into different areas. And our goal is to lay all the facts out in front of you. We ask a few questions. Where are you at? We run what's called a benefits analysis. We break down all the pieces we talked about, because everyone I met, I've never seen somebody that has the exact same sick leave. I've never seen anyone that's had the exact same vacation leave. All your benefits, the salaries, everything's a little bit different, and the lifestyle you want to have, the things you want to do, that we're able to run a benefits analysis. It takes us 15 minutes. We ask a series of questions, and then you're able to have a plan, a written plan. You get a copy. It's 10 to 12 pages long. It's going to show you. It's an extension of HR. There's no money involved. We run the plan for you. We answer your questions, and we help people all the time order their paperwork, order their link so that we can do their retirement paperwork. They get an annuity estimate. We break everything down. We show them. Then we walk them through that process. So you can click the link and have a complimentary appointment set up to talk to somebody. One of our experts will be glad to work with you and answer any questions. Now you may go, I don't really need an analysis. I just have a question. Please schedule an appointment. We'll be glad to. Every month we do a meeting just like this, that we get on. We change it up a little bit, talk in a little bit more detail about different areas, topics. We'd invite you to come back. You may know somebody. I meet this all the time. They go, Eric, I learned more today than I've ever learned in 30 years about my benefits and how they work, what you need to do. And you go, I got 3 people that need to see this. Refer them, send them the link, let them schedule, or get them on our next call. Let us know. We have a newsletter that we can keep them informed of what's going on. We're glad to meet with them and talk with them. Sometimes we have people get on. We had this with NASA 2 months ago. Somebody got on and went, this is unbelievable. I love this. And NASA's going through, they still haven't appointed a director. They have decisions that have to be made. And we actually did a live webinar just like this for 24 NASA employees. He had his whole department get on. So they had all the things in front of them that they can look at. We would be happy to do an event like this. We're going to be doing an event, a live event in Virginia in September. We don't have a date yet. One of the senators there is lining up for all the federal employees that lost their job. We're coming in and we'll be one of the featured speakers at the workshop, showing them what's my next step. What do I do? So if you want, sign up for our newsletter and we'll keep you posted of events that are going on, things that are happening, our next online webinar, our next live webinar that you can be a part of. So please, first of all, take care of yourself. Find out what your numbers are. There's no cost. It takes a little bit of time. And everyone we've ever shown it to, they're like, I can't believe where I'm at. I love this. You may know somebody, then refer them our direction, point them our direction. We'll be glad to meet with them. Or if you want us to do something for your agency, we're happy to do that. We're here to serve you. We want to help federal employees maximize their benefits. I want to thank every one of you for taking an hour out of your day to get on. Please leave us comments on our site. Everyone should have our website that you can look at. Tell us what you think, what you learned, what you felt, what you liked, what you didn't like. We would love to hear feedback from you. We would love to chat with you. So I wish all of you the best going forward. Hopefully we'll see you again on another webinar. Hopefully we get a chance to work with you, talk with you. One of our experts will be glad to help you with where you're at. Have a wonderful day. We'll look forward to talking to you in the future. Bye-bye.